Harvest Harmonics, and welcome to another episode of Innovation in Agriculture. And I've been talking a lot. It's been real busy here the last couple of weeks, especially. A lot of farmers are getting ready for the next season here, and of course, we've been talking to them about all kinds of different stuff from climate change to regenerative agriculture to sustainability. Lack of water, too much water. I mean, it's been a lot of different topics on the table, and we've been talking about R&D tax credits for American farmers because we're finding out this is one of those things, those hidden gems that it goes out there, and very few people know about it because it's not widely publicized, and then it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But this is something where a lot of farmers are just always doing. They're always researching, they're always doing stuff, they're always trialing different things, and sometimes they do it when companies like us or a fertilizer company comes and says, "Hey, we want you to try this product. Can you please run some experiments?" And they run some trials, they do some measurements and that kind of stuff. They may even pay for our device. Most of our farmers pay for our device as part of the trialing system because, hey, we know that when farmers are engaged, then of course they're going to see amazing results. But part of this trialing program, though, is because of this different type of research that's R&D. If you're incurring expenses as a result of doing these trials, then you should be claiming these as R&D tax credits. Now, it's under Section 41 of the IRS tax code. And basically, when you engage in these types of trials, as long as you're keeping track of what part of your expenses are part of this trial. For example, if you were going to try, let's say, 100 acres of our crop booster, right? Let's say you spend 10,000. Let's say you spend $20,000, right? You buy some equipment for us, you install it, and then you also have money in terms of, let's say you do a soil test at the beginning of the year because you want to see how much of a benefit it's going to have in the soil health, right? So you do some soil tests. And let's say as the plants start growing, you send a guy out there to measure the differences in how fast our plants are growing versus your standard plants, right? Then you're going to go and you're going to measure how green they look. Maybe you do some tissue samples of the plants, right? And you send those off to a lab. And then later on, you're going to track and see how much difference in fungicide. Maybe you have to spray fungicide or those types of things. All of those expenses that I'm mentioning here, and you do a yield test where you're actually doing yield maps and that kind of stuff. All those expenses that you're incurring, not just the cost of the product, the fertilizer, or like the equipment, like what we have, all those expenses are deductible as as an R&D tax credit. Now, my understanding is, and we have specialists that deal with this, but my understanding is that's a 100% refund for those expenses. So normally, if you just treat it as a business expense, the IRS is going to give you maybe 20 or 30% back in terms of a refund. But as an R&D tax credit, they'll give you dollar for dollar refunds. That's my understanding. So if you want more information about the R&D tax credit, please let us know. We'd be happy to send you some information on it. And again, we have tax specialists that can help you if you have more questions that are specifically related to that. The other thing I wanted to kind of mention here, this is for all farmers, not in the United States, is you know, we're really in that stage now where we've really proven our crop booster technology on. We've proven on every crop we've tried this on. We've proven it in every region we've tested this on, every soil type we've tested this on. And what we still run into is, well, okay, you've gotten good results on corn, but we didn't get good results on corn here in my country. Or you got good results in my country, but it wasn't on my specific crop, right? So you got good results on crops over here, but not in my country. Or you got good results in my country, but on different crops. We're going to keep doing the right thing, and we're going to keep proving ourselves over and over and over again. Whether it takes us a year or 10 years or 100 years to prove to people beyond any shadow of a doubt that our crop booster is the best innovation for agriculture, we're going to keep doing those trials. I had a good meeting with a sugarcane grower in Colombia, and her comment was, we looked at this, but we didn't see any results in sugarcane. But in that year that they waited, okay, this was a year ago that we talked to them originally, right? Or our partners down in Colombia did. We talked to this company a year ago, and they said, no, we're not going to try this, right? But what happens in that year, okay? What happened is they had a lot of cloudy weather, a lot of rain, and not a lot of sunshine, not enough sunshine to get that sugarcane growing up to its normal potential. And so what happens is they lost their crop. They didn't lose their crop, but they got maybe a lot, half the production that they normally get because the plants just weren't growing because the weather was bad. We have other people in California that are telling us, hey, we didn't have enough water to grow, so we basically let our land go fallow, or we had maybe half the production that we normally get, right? And one cherry grower said, hey, we had your system on. We had a heat wave that wiped out all of our fruit, and we have a trial in Mexico where literally all the other farms in that region got wiped out by this disease. And the Kiminasi field that we had this with the university trial that we're running there, Kiminasi field totally survived. So here's the problem. When you wait, you put yourself at risk. You put yourself at risk that your crops, a bad weather event could happen, an insect plague could happen, a disease could happen, a fungal outbreak can happen. All these different factors that are part of normal everyday farming life, which in some cases can be controlled but isn't always controlled. You're putting yourself at risk, right? So we don't want to put people at risk. We don't want people to wait. We understand that there's a certain thing, but we have a 100% money back guarantee. If you just do some simple measurements and you can prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that our crop booster did not benefit you and did not make you more money than the cost of our system, we reimburse you the difference. So we make it to where the worst you can do is break even. In the United States, they have R&D tax credits, which will reimburse you 100% for our system anyway, whether you get a good result or not, whether we give you your money back or not. The IRS will give you all of your money back, plus labor costs, plus lab tests, and all that stuff. We have a number of different case studies. I think it's like 120 case studies now on over 60 different crops in over, I think, 35 different countries now. I mean, we keep proving ourselves and proving ourselves and proving ourselves. But here's the reality, guys, and I don't want you to lose sight of this. If you're not using the crop booster system, you're putting your crops at risk. And yes, you can go and get useful information from, you can get crop insurance and that kind of stuff. But we all know that insurance companies like to take their time, and government refunds and those kind of things usually take their time in terms of reimbursing the money and getting the money. I would rather you guys not have to use those systems. I would rather you guys just have a really good year, even in tough conditions, right? And we're doing it over and over and over again with the crop booster. So here's my challenge for you. Everybody in every region, there always has to be one that's the first, okay? At the end of the day, maybe we don't have results on your crops in your country yet. I want you to be the first. Maybe we have results on your crop, but in different countries. I want you to be the first in your country to try this. Maybe we have results in your country, but not on your crop yet. I want you to be the first for your crop in your country. And at the end of the day, we have very special programs and very special trialing programs right now where you can literally get hundreds of acres or hundreds of hectares of our crop booster technology for literally a tiny deposit, like a tiny portion of what they normally would cost. And we're doing that because we want to prove ourselves. We want our farmers to measure everything and put us to the test and show that our system really does everything we say it does. So I put the challenge to you. If you want to improve your farm, I want you to be the first, because when you're the first, you have tremendous advantages, and we have tremendous incentives to help you get started here. Once we start getting 4, 5, 6 guys in the same region, once all these sugarcane guys get rolling throughout Central America, we're not going to have our data evaluation program anymore. We're not going to have it because we won't need it. We'll have all the results we need. Once we have all the crops in a particular area in a country, once we show that we can get peppers anywhere in the world to grow tremendously, we won't need to have those types of evaluations. We're just going to say buy the product and use it. So if you want to be first, we have tremendous opportunities for you to take advantage of our very special programs, and I want you to succeed. So please give me a call, 727-324-6750, or email me at service@harvestharmonics.com, and let's help you become an innovative farmer, and let's help you become part of the future of farming today. Call me now and let's get you started.